Hi, I'm Tealish and you're watching Coffee and Clix. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy my content, and visit the link tree found in the description of this video for links to my social media. Today's video is sponsored by Highlander Games in Boonton, New Jersey. I highly recommend them for all your gaming needs, including Heroclix sealed product and singles. They also ship. You can check them out by calling the store or visiting at Highlander Games NJ. Hi, I'm Tealish and you're watching Coffee and Clix. Today we welcome Azarith Stryffe from Team Phoenix Nest. He is the winner of the 2022 Coffee and Clix Epilepsy Foundation charity tournament. So happy to have you on the show, Azarith.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, definitely. So, I was really excited about the tournament all month long. We had this tournament started in mid-January, and it just ended I guess last week, or
Yeah, like a
maybe
week and a half ago.
a week and a half ago. So, congratulations on
Thank
your
you.
win.
Thank you.
Congratulations on also congratulations to Pat Fraser, who came in second, and
Yep.
Paul Cote, who came in third.
Yeah.
And to all the participants, and thank you to all the participants in the tournament for their donations and for supporting the cause and having a good time.
Yeah.
Um,
The event was run like really, really well. I was very happy with how it went. Didn't take like too long because I've been in like some online events for other games where they can just drag on and on and on. And this didn't happen. You ran it very well. Great players came out to play, and I didn't have a bad experience with it at all, and would definitely do this again.
Thank you. And so Also, I mean, I just want to. This is just something that I ask all my guests, or it's a typical question that I ask um,
Sure.
to people that come on the show. Could you talk a little bit about your HeroClix background in general? How did you get started with the game of HeroClix? Maybe some of your other accomplishments as a HeroClix player. Uh,
Sure. So I started HeroClix way back when the game first came out, when I was a teenager and had no idea how the game worked at all. And then I lost kind of interest with it as I got older and got more invested into like competitive card games. Um, and then I came back because a group that I was playing Dungeons and Dragons with also were playing HeroClix on the weekends, and I'm like, oh, I remember this game. I got started again in Secret Wars Battle World. It was the first set that I played with when I came back to the game. And just kind of fell in love with it again. I always was like a chess player. So I kind of just fell in love with the strategy of the game now that I'm like more mature. Um, as far as like other accomplishments I've had, um, I went to I won my first WKO within like a couple of months of playing the game, um, which got me. That was the year that Worlds was in Philadelphia. Got to play in Team Worlds with teammate from Phoenix Nest, Maddie G, and Jeremy Walters, who was a fill-in for us. We got top 16, which I thought was a huge thing for me. Only being playing for a few months. Um, got top 8 in Team Nationals a couple, I think, 2 years ago. It wasn't last year. I was the one that was online playing God Emperor Doom, and then this was really like my first big win that I can consider a win of this kind of size. Other than that, just yeah, that's basically my history of clicks.
Yeah, I mean it was a big win. I mean the Coffee Clicks tournament was 48 people. It was a huge tournament. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and,
And I went through and in top 16, I played Tyler Spees, former world champion. I played Pat in the finals, who's former nationals champion. Like there was some definitely like skilled competition.
yeah, no, definitely. And when I was making the event, like when I was trying to organize the event, I wanted to make it 300 modern. My actually this is my second event, Coffee and Clicks event. My first Coffee and Clicks event was a little bit more casual format. It was commons, uncommons, and rares. It was a CUR format, 300 point CUR. And
Okay.
I had a lot of fun with it. We raised a good amount of money as well for the Epilepsy Foundation, and um, the people who played in that event were also had a lot of fun. But this event was a little bit different. I wanted to make it 300 modern, and I wanted to include Empire in it
Hmm.
because there weren't a whole lot of big tournaments being played with that set. Um,
Yeah.
and so I wanted to kind of uh, provide data, I guess, to people about like what, and let people test the waters with Empire. It's just to see what works and what doesn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, which was really nice because like I was talking with somebody the other day, and we were like, War of the Realms is out now, and nobody can remember an event that had Empire League, like just when Empire came out. And it's like Empire really never got its due because they were trying to get back on schedule, so they got War of the Realms out just really quick. So yeah, I appreciated the Empire showing.
Yeah. Absolutely. And so your experience in the Coffee and Clicks Classic in the event. Um, what was your experience like? Well, first of all, let's talk about your team. So, your team was what was on your team?
So I played a +6 monster theme team, consisting of Blackheart, Venom Wolverine, Sky Tyrant, Venom Magneto, the Commissioner, and Orange Proteus. I had a Power Gem and Remaker ring with the Reign of Terror map bonus from Doom's Castle, and then a sideline of some Troublemakers, a Skrull Spy, and the rare Deadpool from Empire, the one that can come in for a 75-point monster that gets KO'd.
And who would you say? Which character would you say is the star of your team?
So that was something that I really, as the tournament went on, I really appreciated about the team. A different character was highlighted in every game. So there wasn't really like a star. Like there were games where Sky Tyrant just did Sky Tyrant things.
Mm-hmm.
And then there were games where, Blackheart kind of had to carry the heavy load. I just feel like everybody really performed in every game differently. Um, other than Orange Proteus. Orange Proteus is just great in every game. He's so sneaky. Like people forget about his shutdown of improved abilities, and he's clutch in a lot of matchups.
No, yeah, I was noticing that in a couple of your games that that Orange Proteus is kind of MVP in some instances.
Yeah, not only does he have the shut off improved abilities, but if you get to retail with him, it's basically getting to position a barrier wherever you want it. Because he has traded barrier, so you get to retail and then barrier around a character, shutting off all of their improved movements or improved targetings, and then they're kind of just stuck inside of a barrier.
Oh, you know what? I never realized that. That's very smart.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
how I trapped a couple of black hearts that way out with their leadership, or even you don't even have to because it's an optional generation. You just barrier around them; they can't go anywhere.
and what about Venom Wolverine? What do you um, that was kind of like unexpected with Venom Wolverine, but
Yeah,
he that's she's a character from Empire, one of the newer figures. How did she do for you?
she was great, and I when I first saw her get spoiled, I knew that she was going to be good, and I thought a lot of people were sleeping on her because that new symbiote trait is just so good, especially on a close combat piece. Like not being able to be targeted by ranged attacks while you're within 4 and line of fire of an opposing character when you are a close combat piece is so punishing. and it was huge in a lot of my matchups. I could play a little bit more aggressive with her because I would go and base one character, and because she has giant reach, she gets to attack other characters and keep her line of fire on that one character because she has plasticity. So getting away from her is kind of hard. And because she's basically also a Punisher War Machine, she enables 3 attacks on my alpha with Sky Tyrant, because Sky Tyrant just carries her up, drops her off, and then she's able to do some work from there. It's just she turned out to be so great. And if you just even if you boil her down outside of all of that, she can copy Underworld TA and be a 13 square TK for Tyrant or for Blackheart.
So how does that work?
So she copies Underworld TA, which gives her Passenger 1 on characters that she shares keywords with, or Passenger 2 if they're lower points. So she carries Blackheart 12 because her movement is 12, places Blackheart forward 1 square. Blackheart kills a guard, running shots carrying her.
Okay.
Shoots, and then places Venom Wolverine in front so that now she's probably within 2 of somebody else to hit.
And then she has
And
2 tokens, which when she has 2 tokens, she can make a free attack.
Yep.
Which is the reference to Punisher War Machine. So she has when she has 2 tokens, she can make a free attack. So as long as you can carry her anywhere you want, and then you get that free attack with giant reach.
And then
too.
if you go that play, or on your next turn, if Blackheart hits the leadership, he can take a token off of her, so that now she can attack twice in this turn because she can charge and then make a second attack. Like the team ended up being incredibly mobile while still having a lot of offensive power.
Yeah, and what did you do? Like typically, what maps did you choose for this team?
So my map choices were Doom's Castle because I was playing the map bonus. Iron Man's Workshop because it's a 4x4 starting zone, so it enables my alpha really, really nicely because I only need the single TK on Sky Tyrant, so the other TK can either go into Rookie or Blackheart. And then I also ran Negative Zone kind of for the same reason.
And so, were there any maps that you didn't want to face? That, like, let's say you lost map, and
Pat. Pat on Otherworld Castle.
Okay.
Specifically because Jubilee can just be such a monster. No pun intended. But other than that, like, I think I lost map more than I won, but I won map when I needed to, except for in the finals. And the only map that like I really like struggled with a little bit was the Great Mound, and that was because my opponent was playing Wizard Prime, so he could like get line of fire on any character if I mispositioned, and then kind of just shoot him wherever he wanted. But managed to be able to position properly in that game and still get my alpha off even when I lost map.
Okay. And overall, I mean, how was your overall experience in the event? Maybe what were some highlights from some of the games that you played?
So my highlights were every game. Like just every opponent was great, which I can never understate. I've been in a lot of competitive environments where you kind of dread playing opponents because they end up being kind of crappy. But I've never had that problem with Heroclix, and especially in this tournament. Honestly, just being able to finally like the highlight, as crappy as it sounds and as like humble brag is the winning part of it, because like I'd kind of been down on myself as a player because like I either wasn't performing well or I would get into like the top cut and lose in the first round. And so like finally like winning something like kind of proved to myself that like maybe I am like deserving of being there. So that was kind of a thing. It was more proving it to myself than anything. And beating Pat when he won map was kind of a big accomplishment.
That was a good game. I mean, all the games were just great to watch. I mean, every player in the tournament. I was able to record 2 games from Pod Play, which were both very good games. I was able to record 2 from each round, basically. So I recorded 2 games from. They're up on the YouTube channel. If you go check them out, viewers at home, you can go check out the Coffee and Clix 2022 playlist. And there are 8 games on there, I think. And the finals
sounds right.
The finals are on there. The semifinals are on there. Just 2 of the games from the semifinals, 2 of the games from quarterfinals, and so on. but it gives you kind of a snapshot of the tournament a little bit. And Azarith's final game against Pat Fraser is also on there.
Yeah, there's a lot lot going on in that finals game of just that game. I think more the last two games, the top four game against Nate and the finals game against Pat, kind of is a real demonstration of how mobile my team is, because my team was going from one side of the map to the other.
Yeah, your game against Nate was very tight. Also, that was
yeah. So Nate even expected my turn one. Like he expected me to go after the support pieces, but he thought he was going to be trading my Venom Mags, my Proteus, and probably my Venom Wolverine. But that's where the copying Underworld with Venom Wolverine is just so big, where she was basically able to get out of dodge. And he wasn't ready. He wasn't expecting that.
Mm-hmm.
And Sky Tyrant and Blackheart are just dumb. They're just dumb figures.
Yeah. Yeah, and I haven't really seen a team. There are not that many teams that have Blackheart and Sky Tyrant, really.
Yeah, no, because most of the time they just go like, yeah, they go and they'll go like the Sky Tyrant route is more like Pat and Paul's build. And that's what one thing I liked was the top three builds were all monster teams and we were all different. Like Pat was the Jubilee monster team, Paul was more of like the traditional monster Wendigos, and then mine was the lower theme, higher point defense. Like my team was bulkier than the other two. Like I just had a lot more staying power with my figures.
Well, that actually brings me to my next question, which is actually I posted on Facebook, just like ask us any questions. We're recording tonight, and Adam Massachuski, Adam Mack from Clixinit, posted a question, and this is what he asked, and it just has to do with what you just said. Do you think monsters are too strong right now? What figures or teams counter a monster team? And yeah, so I mean he asked two questions. One of them was what figures or teams counter a monster team? What do you have to say to that? What do you think?
I don't know if monsters have a direct hard counter right now. I think the way you and kind of a point of what kind of monster team, now that we're showing that three different monster teams can kind of be effective.
Yeah.
Like I felt like my monster team had very few bad matchups because it just has four primary attackers that are all very hard to kill. Mm-hmm. Especially if Sky Tyrant goes off. Whereas Pat and Paul, like you're gonna kill a high density of things, but you're not getting a ton of points out of it. So I think to Pat and Paul is like a Batman team that goes first, could be a problem. But I don't think anything like hard counters monster builds right now. And to the second question of whether I think they're too strong, I don't think they're too strong. They're just very consistent.
Yeah.
So you're gonna see good performance out of them if piloted properly, just because the power of the quality of the figures that you get to play is just very good, especially if you get to play Blackheart.
Your team though is different from the other teams. I think your team survives rotation, right? Like
I lose the power gem and possibly the remaker ring, but I can easily change those into other objects.
Yeah, because I noticed you didn't even
I lose
equip
orange
them.
Proteus. I lose orange Proteus.
Okay, that's a big one. Yeah, I mean, I noticed you didn't even equip a lot of your games. You didn't bother equipping.
Yeah, top 16, I had to play against the Scarab, so I equipped my Remaker ring on Venom Wolverine because she could copy stealth, and I was kind of safe from Scarab in that aspect. Against Nate, I lost map, and I knew I wasn't getting my objects because I kind of knew where he was going to go. And against Pat, I just didn't have time. Mm-hmm. Like when you go against another Alpha Strike, you have to be ready to go. Like you can't sit and equip. And I think that's a mistake that I see a lot of players make is they go into like their standard, like we kind of call them like scripts like I'm going to do this turn one play all the time, and they don't adapt from that of seeing if I equip here, I'm going to get hit and I'm not going to be able to counterattack on my turn two properly.
Right. Yeah. So, but you lose to Orange Proteus, but I mean a lot of monster teams. I mean, your typical monster team, it's going to lose Wendigo. Wendigo's a big loss for monster teams.
Yeah.
Also with Pat's team and also Paul's team, Storm Prime.
Storm Prime and Green Proteus.
And the Green Proteus. That Storm Prime was very crucial on their team. I feel like that was because the whole strategy was mind control them into your Wendigos, right? Like,
yep. Yeah.
Like that's the main thing, right?
mind control them back and then free knock back them back even further so that they're in range of the Wendigos. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But I mean,
them losing Wendigos is a big hit.
Yeah, losing Wendigos is a big hit. But obviously there are other ways to build monsters. Monster has a lot of good options.
Mm-hmm.
And also Adam's second question was, Adam from Clixinit. This is his second question. What is the missing piece of the puzzle that monsters needs to become unstoppable?
I don't think it makes them unstoppable, but the big thing that monsters is missing right now, especially after rotation, is perplex. Monster has no real good perplex if they have any. So, and once the reality gem rotates, you no longer can have Scarab copying reality gem to get a bunch of perplexes. So I think that's, if we get a good monster with perplex, I'm feeling really good about it.
Okay. Let's see. What about right now on the meta scene, like the competitive scene? Do you think there's a figure that currently should get an errata? Just in general, doesn't have to be a monster.
I don't think so. They've hit the really big ones, like Venom Rogue. And Venom Rogue is a big one because of that's kind of where I was like with Venom Wolverine. I was like, oh well, yeah, the symbiote trait is so good on Venom Wolverine, but she's competing with Venom Rogue for that 75-point close attacker with that trait, and Venom Rogue was just better because Venom Rogue got to be a Sky Tyrant. But she got her errata, so that brought Venom Wolverine more into my spotlight again. And then Hela was the bigger errata that needed to happen. But other than that, like
those were figures that like you kind of knew they were going to get errata because they had like crazy ruling, crazy like wording and stuff like that. But what about like just figure that's OP? Like, is there anything that's too powerful right now?
I don't think so. I don't even think, like, I've heard people think that like maybe Thanos is on that level, and I don't think so. I think he's very good, but I think there's enough actual counters to him.
Yeah.
I don't think
we had 6 Thanos teams in the tournament.
Yeah. But I don't think there's a figure that's too powerful right now. I'll take that back. If they just errated Molecule Man did not exist, I'd be fine.
But even then, like Molecule Man, there's counters to him. Like, I mean, if you're playing Jubilee, then Molecule Man doesn't really matter that much, right?
Yeah. The other counter to Molecule Man is an opposing Molecule Man.
Yeah, or an opposing Molecule Man. Yeah, exactly.
I hate that figure so much. He's too good. He's way. But yeah,
too good. Molecule Man is too good. I don't know. I feel like he changes the way the game is played a little bit, so that like you have to either have barrier on your team or you have to account for barrier for your opponent's team like automatically, because like it's so much barrier. It's not just 4 squares, it's so much barrier that one
it's potentially up to 10 just for one character. Like, that's insane. And one thing that like the Phoenix Nest guys joke about with me, I hate barrier as a power in principle. Mm-hmm. Like, I wish the power didn't exist.
Go in and mix it up, right? Like,
I wish the power didn't exist. So yeah, the fact that Molecule Man exists really grinds my gears.
But the reason why barrier maybe does exist, especially like characters like Molecule Man, is to guard against alpha strikes, right? Because you
Yeah,
have
especially the way the game is now. The game is way too alpha strikey right now.
so maybe you need a character like Molecule Man to balance out the alpha striking. I don't
That's
know.
very possible. Absolutely. I just wish Molecule Man wasn't also on most of the Alpha Strike teams. Who
Yeah.
get the safety and they get to open their way in for their alpha. But yeah, that's my big problem with the meta right now. Is it's we've said it before, and a couple people have said it. The game only matters from in the starting areas. The center of the map doesn't matter, and I think that's a fundamental problem, because the game takes place in either starting area, because it's either I go from my starting area to yours or you go from your starting area to mine.
Well, let me ask you a question because this is actually something that's a big topic of debate right now. I'm not actually sure how I feel on the issue, but some people are saying, they should change. I mean, all right, WizKids already made a modification to initiative roll, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you can only get +3, right?
Yep.
So that was supposed to ameliorate the whole choosing map thing because it's possible that even if you have a +10, it's still possible that you lose map, right?
Yeah.
And does it do enough, or do you think? Because a lot of people are saying we should still change the way choosing map is done in the game, so that maybe the second player gets to choose map, and everybody's been taking like in Roll20 tournaments everywhere, any kind of Roll20 tournament that's on Discord, people are reporting
Who won map
to provide data to the powers that be, just to see what we should do about the advantage that you get if you win map.
The change to initiative was good because it gave non-themed teams a chance to go first. But I think going first is enough of an advantage that you also. I am of the camp that PJ Bolin and I have talked a whole bunch about this, and we are both in the camp of, if you win map roll, you either get to go first or you pick the map. You don't get both. Going second literally has zero benefit. And this is the only game that I've ever played that has seen that, except for Dragon Ball Z, that has that, where there is no benefit to going second. In Magic, I think you don't draw a card for your first turn. In certain circumstances, like you can't attack on your first turn. This is the only game that I've seen that there is all the benefit in going first. And going first, especially in the way that the game has been designed since, I don't know, Wonder Woman, maybe even before then, of how alpha strikey this game got and how every team can cross the map, that, like I said, your map doesn't really matter. It's the going first part that matters. So if you give that map choice to the second player, now they can have a map where it's like, okay, this map can protect me. Yeah. And this is the map that I get to play with. Even though I don't get to go first, I get to at least choose where we fight.
Yeah.
And I am a firm believer that should be the case.
Yeah, I think I like that. I mean, if you either pick between going first or choosing map, and I think that enables a lot of other maps to be played as well.
Yeah, not just the same like 7 maps.
Yeah, because like we that's exactly right. We see you pretty much know when me organizing this tournament, the Coffee and Clix tournament, like I wasn't expecting to see a whole lot of variance in maps. Like everybody's playing, the following maps, and that's it.
Yep. Like Glengrove Cemetery, Iron Man's Workshop, Negative Zone, Doom's Castle, Latverian Village. Those are like your 5 like probably most common maps, and I'm probably missing a very common map. Otherworld Castle, because Otherworld Castle is a great map that even non-X-Men teams play on.
Does anybody still? I mean, is Ancient Hold still legal? Ancient Hold's still legal, right?
Yeah, Ancient Hold's another map that like people like to go. I think people transitioned away from Ancient Hold for a lot of builds into Negative Zone
Right.
because it still gives a lot of barrier options to shut down lanes of attacking, but it's not as restrictive because doors.
Yeah. Um. So yeah. So I mean, I think that's a good idea. I think it's a good idea to maybe at least try it. I mean,
At least give it a shot.
yeah, I think at least there should be a tournament that does that for their tournament. If
Yeah,
that's
and just
allowed.
kind of see the reaction from the player base, and obviously give them enough time ahead of time so that because you build differently when you know that
Yes.
you build your maps differently, you build your team differently, because you want to prepare for like, okay, well, if I go first, I now have to prepare for what my opponent's maps are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I think they should at least give it a shot.
Yeah. What about speaking of Venom Wolverine, I guess, would you consider building a non-monster team with her? Like maybe X-Men swap or something like that? I mean, you still have Venom Magneto, you still have what else? Oh, you could possibly get, I don't know what you could possibly get on an X-Men swap team with Venom Wolverine. I guess you really
could
need
do X swap.
Yeah.
But I feel like with X swap, like the 75-point character is very tough to fit into an X swap. I played X-Men swap and Emperor Gladiator, and like you had 100-point piece, and then you could generally have like a 50 as like your other swap in character. So I think getting her onto an X-Men swap team would be difficult. I think her next home is actually non-themed. Because non-themed, you can still have Venom Magneto because he's only 35 points.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get access to, a bunch of other good non-themed figures like Flash,
Mm-hmm. I was
Molecule
just thinking
Man.
Flash, yeah, because
Yeah.
Flash can carry just like carry him across the map, carry her across the
Mm-hmm.
map, just like
Mm-hmm.
Blackheart could.
Yep.
Especially,
And she can get Green Lantern TA, which she can also copy Green Lantern. It gives her a PD if you don't have Commissioner that she can copy PD from the Flashes. So if you have a ranged attacker, like it just gives you an additional police team.
yeah,
Yeah, I think non-theme, because then like non-theme, you get Felix Faust, which her big problem is outwit. So Felix Faust kind of gives you some outwit protection.
yeah.
In a
Chip.
way. Chip.
Um,
Yep.
how about
But
putting the
yeah,
Galactus Herald on Wolverine?
I considered it. I think that's not terrible for her because on click 2, because she wants to be in your face, click 2 gives her hypersonic, which is great. It also gives her a range value, and I think people forget that about the Herald dial. It gives you a range of 5. So giving her willpower was actually the biggest part that I considered, because I'm like, man, if I can have willpower where it's like I'm on 2 tokens, roll, hit the willpower, and now I get to attack twice and maybe do it again next turn, and have my senses not being able to be outwitted. Yeah, I like the Herald dial on her, and I'd probably do that as a non-theme because you
Is
have so many cheap points.
is the on Venom Wolverine? I forget what the wording is. When she has 2 tokens, does it say free make a close attack or does it say free make an attack?
I knew you were going to ask me that question, and I don't remember what the actual wording is, but I'm going to get that confirmation right now.
Yeah, because if she's got 5 range, then you can free make a range attack. That's cool.
It is specifically she has to make a close attack.
Oh, it has to be close. Okay.
Yeah, but still, the other thing I like about her on a non-theme team, specifically with Flash, is they can copy the X-Men TA from her, so they can actually heal her, or she can heal them.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, like your Flashes get poisoned for 1 off of like a Vulcan, and she can actually like heal them back, get the second token, and then still make an attack.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate that.
Yeah. No, that seems to work. Yeah, so non-theme would be good with Venom Wolverine, but still, I think Monsters is just more potent right now.
Her and Blackheart just pair so well together. It's funny that 150 points is paired really well together, but yeah, they're just very, very synergistic.
And how do you know, like when you're playing the Blackheart? Because I mean, a lot of people ask this question, like, how do you know when to sacrifice those Hellfire club
I
guards.
saw that question on the top four of like why I wasn't making guards. Because I made one or two. I think I willingly made one guard in the game, and I was forced to make two more off the stop clicks. Um, it's a point game. Blackheart can bleed points if he's killing too many guards. So I knew against Nate, I wasn't going to have a lot of free points to get. I needed to keep the point mitigation um, in my side. So I didn't want to give him guards, which was for every two guards I gave him, I had to kill another figure of his. And his team is so defensive that getting another figure to die is very difficult. Whereas with Pat, I knew I could be a lot more frivolous with my points because we were both bleeding points. So that's the thing. Just account for, if you're going to play Blackheart, account for giving your opponent 75 points.
Okay.
Because you're probably going to kill three guards. Either yourself or masterminding to them, or your opponent's just going to kill them. So when you're going into a game with Blackheart, make sure you're at least making up 75 points, and then whatever other free, like easy points you're going to give your opponent.
Okay. And also,
Because also those guards are just dangerous.
Yeah,
like your opponent will want to deal with them.
Yeah, especially if he power actions to make them.
Yep.
Charge flurry, click 9 or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
Charge flurry blades exploit. Oh, it's terrifying.
It's insane. And they have flying too, right? Or
so they can carry Blackheart.
Yes. Yes. And then Blackheart can KO it after it makes his attack, and then Blackheart can make an attack.
Yep. And if he was on his stop click, then he gets the heal one off of the stop click, and now he's on flurry. So now he gets to charge flurry blades. Oh, you can get so many attacks out of Blackheart.
No, another question is, I noticed in that last game, I think it was the game against Nate. You kept saying I choose not to roll leadership. Is that because you must generate a guard when you hit leadership?
No, it's optional. But like for the first turn, there wasn't a reason for me to. So I just chose not to. What I was trying to get the point across to Nate was that like I wasn't using my once per game auto succeed. So instead of that, if I was rolling leadership, it was for tokens, to actually take tokens off of like Sky Tyrant. And I was probably just like misspeaking when I was saying it, but I wanted him to at least know I'm not using my once per game auto succeed for my Reign of Terror map bonus because I didn't want to make the guard.
Right.
Because I needed to be very careful when I was making the guard, what I was going to be able to get out of it.
Okay. And when you were like originally team building for my event, the Coffee and Clix Classic 2022, when you were originally coming up with this team, knowing that Empire was legal, what were you anticipating? Like, what other figures were you anticipating? What were you trying to build against?
So when I built this team, it wasn't actually for the event. I built this team just for fun because I really wanted to play Venom Wolverine. And I sent it to the rest of the Phoenix Nest, and I sent it to PJ, and I was like, hey, what do you think of this team? And they're like, it seems solid. And PJ was like, you should play that for the charity event. Like, it's a team that you built, like you want to play it. It's a charity event, so if you don't do well, you're not that heartbroken. Like you're doing it for the charity anyway. I was like, okay. And then like once I was settled in on that's what I was going to play, that's when I started thinking, I'm like, okay, well, what are we going to see against? I kind of anticipated a lot of Thanos, probably even more than we got. I thought like every pod was going to have Thanos at least one, because he was kind of the new rave. But it's like for my prep for the event went more mentally into how I will prepare for matchups and less for my team adapting to what I expected to see.
Yeah. How do you think your team does against? Have you play tested against Thanos or?
So I played Tyler in top 16. He was playing a ruler themed Thanos, and I won. I think I have a solid matchup against Thanos. I can spread out enough that it's hard to get good quality mind controls off.
Okay.
On top of that, if I ever get to retail with Orange Proteus, his life goes like it's a nightmare for Thanos, because I will base you with Venom Wolverine, barrier around both of those figures, Venom Wolverine and Thanos, and you can't use your improved targetings from the Mind Gem because of Proteus.
Okay. Yeah.
So you're based, so you can't shoot out of adjacency to shoot my Colossal. Now you have to deal with my 20 defense shape change super senses Venom Wolverine that you can't one shot.
Mm-hmm.
You can't mind control her away because she doesn't ignore the barrier.
Yeah.
Yeah, that just becomes a really difficult scenario for Thanos to be in.
Yeah, I mean, well, Thanos has got a high attack value, but I mean, it's still dealing with.
It's
Venom
still a double
Wolverine is pretty
rollout.
tough. Yeah.
Yep. And then if he hits me, she goes to her Blades power, which Thanos doesn't have a high defense.
Not at all.
And she's got a fairly good attack through most of her dial. And if she hits the Blades,
attacks. Yeah.
And if she hits, I'll roll the Blades every time, even if there's a chance I don't do damage, because it just heals me.
Mm-hmm.
And she's got a stop click. And if you're only attacking me once a turn, you're never killing me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because I'm just going to hit my stop click. That's a 12 attack with the Blades power. I'm going to attack you. I'm going to heal. I'm going to free attack you. I'm going to heal. And now we're right back where we are. And that's me missing both rollouts every time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Venom Wolverine's she's a tough nut to deal with. She died once in the whole tournament.
So do you see yourself continuing to play this team for like the next few sets, or are you going to change it up, or what's going on?
I've already changed it.
You have?
I've already changed my team. The monster team as it is will probably stay the same, but I've kind of moved on to stuff from War of the Realms. I'm kind of fiddling around with Super Rare Prime Gamora because I think she's really good.
Yeah.
So I like that I always have this monster team in my back pocket that I'm like, okay, if I don't know what to play, or like what I'm playing doesn't seem to be working, I can just pull that out. I know how to play it, and I can kind of go into an event comfortably playing that.
Yeah, I played a game with Gamora. My friend, I pulled her in one of my bricks. So my friend came over actually earlier today. We were playing, and I have a police Spider-Man theme. With,
I saw your build. It's similar to what I'm playing.
Okay, well the Waldo arms is amazing on Gamora. It's really good.
So I had Waldo arms on my initial build for Gamora, and I changed it to Exospecs.
Oh, okay, yeah, that works too. Yeah,
because Exospecs gives her access to running shot and hypersonic speed.
Yeah, and she's got quite a large range.
7 range triple target. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the differences between your and my build, I'm running Dazzler.
Okay, so how does
Dazzler gets brought in? So Dazzler gets brought in through celebrity. She chooses 2 characters at Force Construction to give them either X-Men TA or Shield TA. And then I have so many wild cards for Shield TA. I get to triple shield basically any character on my team for the range. So I turn Gamora into a 10 range cannon. Because Miles West, I give Miles West one of the shields so that he can copy Underworld from the Commissioner. So he can carry the other 2 shields, and then Gamora gets TK'd up, and then running shot with Miles carrying, or running shot with Gamora carrying Miles for the 3rd shield.
And so when she triple targets from range, she's dealing her full damage.
Her full printed. Yep. Both of her powers do not specify they have to be close attacks.
That's great.
So she can just shoot a high evolutionary. It's a 11 on a 17, no stop click, no nothing. You don't get ESD, you don't get your stop click.
Yeah. But I mean, are you playing her at 60 or 125?
60.
So it's just 3 damage though. It's not
kills a high evolutionary.
Oh yeah. But it's not penetrating though, because if she's triple targeting, it's
single target.
You're doing the single target.
You can do if you need to kill one character that you don't want them to have defense powers, single target. But yeah, you can do 3 different characters. You could do Dazzler also brings an enhancement.
Right, and then also the shield TA can also bump up the damage too. But it's printed damage though with
for her multi-target. Yep.
For the multi-target.
For her multi-target.
Because what I was using with the octopus arms was what I did in my game was TK her. I went to Realm of Death, blocking
that map is obnoxious.
It's great. It's great.
That map is so obnoxious.
It's very obnoxious, but I was playing against a ranged team, so I decided to go there. But I was able to break a wall with Miles West. Then I TK'd with Flash, TK'd Gamora across. She was equipped with the octopus arms. She has the giant reach too, so she could triple target everybody for 3 exploit, and then get another free attack, triple target everybody for 3 exploit again.
Yep.
And it took out like 3 figures all at once.
In the last broadcast event this past Friday, I played my Gamora team, and second round I played against Scott Crampton. He was playing animals, and I had a play lined up where if he didn't roll a 3/4 on his Grodd to give my Gamora a second token with the specs, I was gonna. Also play the starter Martian Manhunter. From JLU. That's power action, move a friendly character that shares a keyword half their speed.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Also, you know what you could do then actually with Exospecs is you could choose Pensai instead of the hypersonic. You could choose Pensai.
Absolutely.
And then you can just TK her into position.
Yep. You lose some reach if you lose the running shot. You don't have full map after that, because I have full map if I have a running shot. But you could do that absolutely if your opponent gives you the shot, for sure. But I was gonna power action Martian Manhunter, move Gamora next to 3 maggots, choose Flurry, and flurry 3 maggots. If he had done 1 penetrating damage, it would have been even worse for him, because I would have picked Precision Strike. So flurry 3 maggots with Precision Strike for 3 damage each.
Yeah, that's great.
but he didn't. He hit the 3/4, and I didn't hit leadership. So I lost real bad.
Yeah, that Gamora Prime.
But yeah, she's
an exciting figure. Do you think she's the better of the 2 super rare primes, or do you like Destroyer Prime?
No, I don't like Destroyer Prime, but Destroyer Prime is dumb.
Yeah. Okay.
He is real dumb. I don't like him from a standpoint of he's really, really strong. I like Gamora better just for me, because I like to play with my figures on the board. Destroyer doesn't get played on the board.
Yeah.
But yeah, Destroyer is really good, but I think Gamora is great. You have to get around the fact, or you have to understand the fact that she is a glass cannon. She needs to score at least her weight in points. I don't want to say she needs to, but if she scores her point value for you, she did her job. The rest of the team should be able to pick up after that. Yes, she is fragile, but reflex is impervious, isn't nothing. If you play her like I do with the extra specs, you have stealth access, so you get some protection, and you just have to position well. And if she dies, just understand that can happen. Everything in this meta can just die.
Yeah.
So I hate that argument of she's fragile, she just dies to X damage. Like, yeah, so do most things.
Yeah, no, a lot of stuff. I mean, like a lot of people worry about outwit too. But I don't think, you have to worry about things getting outwitted too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, her defense can get outwitted. That's absolutely true.
Like the Spider-Man chase. Yeah, like Gamora's not protected outwit, but that's okay, because like she does a lot of damage output. Like like you don't necessarily have to have a figure with protected outwit in order for it to be good.
Yeah, and you can protect her. Like you can have your figures positioned in a way to protect her. So just it comes down to, yes, it's not point and click, like this is how I win the game, but she can just win you a game. I've one-turned She-Hulk twice because of her. Full 100-point She-Hulk. through a lockjaw because she shuts off Mastermind.
Who shuts off Mastermind?
Gamora.
Oh, because she's got multi-target.
No, her single target is they can't use defense powers. Mastermind's a defense power.
That is also true. Yeah.
So I give her an Empower with Marvella, and I'm like, flurry your She-Hulk for 8.
So Azarith. So I'm like, I would put Destroyer and Gamora up there as like the top 2
Agreed.
Figures in War of the Realms. What would be like your top 5?
So Destroyer Gamora, Scarlet Witch, the common, the one that has Latveria. She's a TK taxi. Rocket Raccoon, and probably this one's a personal bias, Mary Jane. It's a personal bias because I love Asgardian. Like, it's one of my favorite keywords.
Yeah.
That and martial artists are my 2 favorite keywords in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say Mary Jane is my 5th.
Do you think that Asgardian could work still, or do you think it needs a few pieces? I was trying to make it work, but
it still needs something. It's on the right track, but right now, if I'm going to play Asgardian, I'm going to play Asgardian Spider-Man family.
Yeah.
Which makes me sad because I really want to play the super rare Daredevil, but he only works well with Asgardians, and it's not shared keyword. And I'm like, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I as a player, love weird pieces. Like, I love figures that most people don't think about.
So what would be an example of that? Like a weird piece that you like that other people don't?
Prime Emperor Vulcan from House of X.
Prime Emperor Vulcan. Oh, that's oh yeah, he was beefy. He was like a big powerhouse, right?
He's 175 points. He has Pulse Wave traded, protected Pulse Wave. He had 2 stop clicks, and he reduced penetrating damage. I played him at the Clix Cup.
Did you play him
175?
Did you play him with the Shi'ar team up card?
Before Rise and Fall, no, I didn't. I played him on a cosmic theme. It was him, Molecule Man, High Evolutionary, Stargirl, and Star Sapphire.
Okay.
Nice. Stargirl gives a perplex. Oh, and I played the Soul Gem on him because it puts him to a 20 defense with an impervious roll that reduces pen damage, and it gives him steel energy at ranged. And when you have traded Pulse Wave,
yeah.
Yeah, and I went 3-2. My winning in was against PJ in the last round, and well, he's arguably the best robot player in the game, and he was playing robots, so I lost.
Yeah. No. I like Emperor Vulcan. I like playing 10 poles sometimes. Like, what is that? Your like normally your style of play is to play 10 pole, or you like to mix it up? Like, what kind of teams do you play?
It was my play style for a while to play 10 poles. I played like 150 Black Panther, Cosmic with Lockjaw.
Mm-hmm.
I played Prime Emperor Vulcan. I've played, Emperor Gladiator on X Swap, which Emperor Gladiator is like on the borderline of 10 poles.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to use this as kind of like a shout out to a teammate of mine, Josafa, however you know him as. I told a couple of our guys he was probably the best thing to happen to me as a Heroclix player, because he got me to start playing the game differently.
Okay.
In the way of, if anybody has ever played against Josafa, he is aggressive as all hell. He is in your face. His teams have full map reach. They have at least 3 attackers. When I built this monster team, I was like, I channeled my inner Joe here. I have 4 attackers. So he has really come around and like helped me see the game in a different way and helped me play the game in a different way. To where now I'm more comfortable playing very like Alpha Strike aggressive teams. And gotten away. I can still play the tentpole style, but now I have this other skill set in my toolbox.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, a lot of other Phoenix Nesters in the past. I had a lot of Phoenix Nest players on my show, and they've all given Joseph a shout out as well. They said he was like an amazing player, and they said I'd
I
actually
think
like to have
he's
him on
in.
my
I think
show.
he's in the top. In my personal opinion, this isn't even just like Phoenix Nest bias. I think he's top 3 players in the game right now. Like he's such an amazing player in the way he sees the game, and it's not that he'll win everything, but the way he plays the game is so different than a lot of other people. He sees the game almost like in a chess manner of, so when you play chess, you look for trades. Like I'm willing to trade sacrifice this piece and this piece because I'm getting this piece in this position. That's how he sees Heroclix. He's willing to give up pieces, which a lot of Heroclix don't like. Heroclix players like to do.
Right.
He's willing to give up that if he can make sure that he's getting more in return. Um, and then he'll even say, "He's like, I play really aggressive, and I'll lose because of it sometimes, but I think I win more than I lose because of it." Yeah, because a lot of Heroclix players also just don't know. They don't know how to react when your opponent's team is in your face, like immediately.
Yeah, it's like a game of attrition, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And he never stops fighting. And that was a big skill set that he brought to me, was never stop fighting in a game. If you can still make attacks, keep going.
Mm-hmm. Um.
Now that I've done my Drosopha is the greatest rant.
So um we talked about War of the Realms. We said what our top figures are, but what about like the next set coming out after War of the Realms? There's actually 2 sets that have been announced. There's Disney Plus, and then there is the X of Swords.
X of Swords.
Are you excited for either of these sets? What are you excited about for each set?
So I'm really excited for Disney Plus because, one, I'm a huge Disney Plus fan. I've loved every series that has been on that streaming service. WandaVision was great. Loki was great. Falcon Winter Soldier. If I don't get an alligator Loki, I'm rioting. Like I want alligator Loki really really bad.
Well, I
um,
think they've shown us a sculpt of alligator
yeah.
Loki, so we're definitely getting it. We just
Yep.
don't know what it is.
I think there's really interesting characters they can choose from. Like they can do, spoiler for anybody who hasn't watched it. They could do like Evil Strange. Um, I think an evil Doctor Strange would be really cool. Um, Wanda, Agatha, like those figures could be really interesting. Getting new like Wiccan and whatever Speedy, is that Wanda's other kid? I think
Um,
Speedy is the other is
yeah,
Billy.
yeah, Wiccan and Speedy. Hmm.
Um, yeah, so I think Disney Plus brings a lot of like interesting choices. And I think they confirmed there's at least objects in X of Swords. I think they said there's objects in Disney Plus,
Yes, there are objects in Disney Plus.
which will be great because we're losing a lot of objects come rotation.
Yeah,
we're losing at least all of ABPI's objects and
all the
potentially
gems.
the Mandarin rings too.
Hmm.
So just new equipment is always exciting.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm really excited to see how this tarot deck mechanic works.
Yes, I. It looks broken, but I don't think it's going to be broken because of somehow how they're going to make it playable.
Yeah.
Like they have to do something with the rules of how to play tarot cards in order to make them not broken, because like the effects on the cards alone, like if it was just like you could use that whenever you like
Yeah. If they're like maybe like one turn effects or something like that, I could see that being much more like in line with a powerful mechanic, but it's not like broken.
yeah,
Like if it's like for this turn, like you get this effect on this card, but we'll see. But I'm really excited to see how they actually operate.
yeah.
Because I think that's such a unique thing that we haven't seen before.
Hmm.
And before people cry out about it, like, because I know I've seen people, it's like, oh, they're introducing more like complicated mechanics, but they wanted the game to be simpler. It's still an optional mechanic. You don't have to use it.
Yeah.
Um, but I appreciate them giving more to the players that want to explore those avenues of the more interesting and complicated mechanics.
So Azarith, oh, yeah, we're nearing the end of our show here, and I wanted to surprise you with something. I have a surprise.
I like
Um,
surprises.
so take a look at it. This is the first time this is getting revealed. Here we go. That is your trophy.
Oh,
It is it's the Infinity Gauntlet
that's so awesome.
holding a coffee cup. Um,
Oh, that's so cool.
yeah, I mean you're inscribed on there. I don't know if is that backwards for you or,
No, I can read it. Yeah, that's so cool.
but I'll also send you a picture. I have a picture of it on my phone, so I'll send you a picture of it.
Perfect.
But that's coming your way. So I'll be shipping that out soon. I just have to find a proper packaging so that doesn't
Yeah,
break.
thank you, man. That's awesome. That's so cool. I'm definitely gonna hang that up in my apartment.
Yeah, so congratulations on winning the Coffee and Clix Classic. Um, did a you played well. Awesome team.
Thank you.
And um,
And for anybody who's contemplating next time, like when Tony does this again, get involved. Like one, you're helping out a good cause. Like the Epilepsy Foundation, the charity is great. And two, like just come out and play. Like it's great competition, but none of us are like we try not to take it too seriously. I know some people got a little serious about it and we all poked fun at it.
yeah,
But yeah, that's the one thing that I'll leave it that at is yeah, just if you have been on the fence of playing online, one, it's really easy. There's videos on how to play on Roll20, and yeah, just it gets you more games and it gets you to play against players you wouldn't normally play against.
yeah. No, I'm a big advocate for Roll20. I mean, do I prefer in-person play? Yes, I do. But
Absolutely.
but uh, but is Roll20 a great tool? Yes, it is. And
I think people are a little burned out with Roll20, at least like the people that have been playing it all through the pandemic, but it's still great. Like I still love playing against the players that I get to play against.
yeah, if you do get involved, it is for a great cause. I do advocate for the Epilepsy Foundation. Myself being an epileptic, and it's an important cause for me. Also linked in my link tree with all my links to my social media. I also have linked in there um, the website for the charity. So I was really excited. Uh, when I first started when I first announced the tournament, I was only expecting to get maybe 24 people because that's how many people signed up for my first tournament. But we doubled that. We got 48 people. We raised $1,580.
That's fantastic.
And a lot of people gave more than what was required because it was a $20 minimum entry. A lot of people were just very generous. So I was really excited to see that the showing, and I'm really just happy that everything went well and that people had fun. So
Yeah, it was a blast. I had a lot of fun.
Azarith, last question before we go. Um, let's say you won this trophy here that I have here. You got the trophy. You got some really good prizing out of the event. But if you were to win like Worlds or Nationals, and let's say you were able to design a figure and a map. Let's say there was a super duper like Nationals Worlds event where you could design both a figure and a map.
Okay.
What would be your figure that you would make, and what would be your location for a map?
Ooh, that's a good question. So I think the figure is pretty clear for me. Um, Gambit is my favorite comic book character, and I never feel like they've really done him justice. So I would want either a true Horseman of Death Gambit, like with what he really can do,
Mm-hmm.
or a version of Gambit before he went to Mr. Sinister and asked Mr. Sinister to nullify his powers. Because Gambit was so powerful, he went to Mr. Sinister and said, "I'm too powerful. Can you make me weaker?"
Mm-hmm.
Because what people don't realize about Gambit is it's not that he can just throw explosive cards. He actually gets to control the kinetic energy in anything, including people. He can time stop people, which is like I would love to see like a real like good representation of Gambit. As for a location, I'd love to see the realm of Valhalla as a map. Like, you know, areas where like on the map there's like a bar with like Vikings like drinking. There's like a big like gladiator like pit in like this like snowy region. I think that would just be so cool. And as a big Thor fan, like, and a big Norse like mythology fan, like Valhalla is like a really cool place for me.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm a big Thor fan too, so that would be awesome. And
Yeah.
also the Gambit idea is awesome. And he would be like, I guess, would you give him like cosmic energy? He would be like a cosmic Gambit or
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
You could. Um, Unfortunately, like one of the powers that I would love to see him have, they've already given to Tempo. The +3
Oh,
speed, -3 speed. That'd be
yeah.
perfect for him.
Yeah.
Um, Maybe give him something like that, but he can do it like at range or within line of fire. And that would just kind of be like where I would start with him.
Or just like in like an Uber tempo power, like adjacent characters get +3 speed or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
or +2 speed. I don't know. +3 would be a
something like
little bit
that. But
overkill,
yeah,
but yeah.
yeah. And like give him like you could even like give him some form of TK, like, and it's a representation of him. He's just basically accelerating who he's TKing.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that'd be kind of cool. Or like he can make people move like their speed. Yeah, just there's a bunch of different things you can do with him that isn't
Mm-hmm.
just give him energy explosion.
All right, Azarith. So thanks for joining me. It's
Yeah,
been a
thanks for
pleasure
having me.
talking Heroclix with you. With the 2022 Coffee and Clix champ, Azarith Stryffe from Team Phoenix Nest, and thanks for thanks for coming on the show. It's been great.
Thanks for having me, Tony. The event was great again. I can't say that enough.
And everybody at home, thanks for watching, and don't forget, everybody, wake up and smell the clicks.